reason Scottish food and drink is so special is I think it's the purity of the country. We have a perfect climate for animal husbandry, and we've got generations of fantastic animal husbandry. The waters around the coast of Scotland are as pure as they can be. The combination of all of these, I think, make the quality of Scottish produce unmatched, as I've seen anywhere in the world. The provenance of the product to us is hugely important. Not just for us, but for our customers as well. Our guests like to know, because they know that we treat it with respect. We can actually tell you what boat that our fish was landed in, who the skipper was, and at what time it came out of the water. The product itself, when it comes in the back door, for us is pristine. Any chef will tell you, with that quality of product, it's easier to cook to the level that we are cooking at. I mean, we're a 2-star Michelin restaurant. We have international clientele. People expect when they come here that the food has to be fantastic. And the pressure is taken off by the quality of produce that is available to us.
The Scots are very proud of their salmon. The salmon has been an integral part of Scottish history for so long now. Well, this is a natural starting place for salmon migrating to the sea. The rivers around here still have good supplies of wild salmon in. Here, this loch here runs to 50 metres deep. There's a big tidal exchange. We have 4 metres of tide every day. I can't think of a better place to grow fish. The quality of the fish at the end of the day is really as close to wild as you could possibly get from farmed fish. So I've been doing it for 30 years, so I think I wouldn't have been doing it for that length of time if I wasn't proud of what I'm doing. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I love fish, and that's what I am. I'm a fish person.
Our family came to this part of the world in the 1820s, so that's almost 200 years since we started farming here. I'm the 6th generation of our family to have farmed here, and I'm happy to say that the 7th generation is now getting closely involved. The business is founded on tradition, but I think focused very much on the future. Scotch beef has built its reputation over the generations, from the times when the Scotch oxen were driven down to the Smithfield market in London, and it was the best quality beef that was available. That reputation, that brand, is known worldwide for the quality, the taste, the pride and the tradition that goes into the production of Scotch beef. Now that Scotch beef is farm assured from birth to plate, and the whole process is independently inspected. Therefore, the provenance of the beef is as good as it can be. If one goes into a restaurant in London or further afield and you see Scotch beef on the menu, it's something that we're immensely happy and proud about. It is definitely amongst the very, very best in the world.
A very brief history of whisky. It became from very humble origins. It was called Uscabay, which was a pretty harsh spirit. In the 1800s it really developed with the merchants taking whisky abroad. So that was the boom time for whisky, and now we see it being drunk all over the world. We have 5 different regions of making whisky in Scotland, and they each have particular characteristics. The Speyside region is the biggest region where we produce the most whisky. Highlands, which are a little bit wilder, a little bit more smoky. We have the Isla whiskies, which are very peaty smoky. Campbelltown, quite maritime, and Lowland, which is the smallest region, which produce very soft malts. Scotland is the perfect place for making whisky because we have the 3 ingredients which you need to make it. Barley, which grows locally, water, which we have in abundance in Scotland, and a little bit of yeast. And our climate just makes the perfect place for making this beautiful spirit. Whisky seems to be growing at an amazing rate. Its popularity is really stretching ahead into new countries, and I think that's because people see whisky as a sophisticated drink and it reflects on them. So we've seen markets like China, South America, South Africa, all really developing in their consumption of whisky.
Scottish seafood is so good because of the beautiful clean waters, the abundance of life and feeding for them, and it's such that buyers know that when they go for Scottish seafood they're going to get a product that is at the top of its game and has been well looked after. These langoustines can end up anywhere from Balmoral, Whitehall, through to Spanish white linen table restaurants. The provenance of the product is vitally important because everybody wants to know where everything comes from. They want to know it's been treated well, looked after well, caught sustainably. Scottish fishermen have always been at the forefront of conservation because at the end of the day it's not ours, we're just here looking after it for the future generations, so it's not in our interests to overfish.
As a nutrition scientist, I'm used to working from farm to fork. So essentially working with the farmers who produce the food to the retailers who are selling the food to us. So really it's important to engage all these key stakeholders to produce healthy and nutritious food. The Innovation Network gives us an opportunity to collaborate with other universities, to pool scientific expertise, and also to engage with the food industry to increase sales and provide expertise for their scientific input as well. It's incredibly important to have that good working relationship between the farmers and scientists, because then they can have specific input into designing and growing specific crops, maybe even novel crops in Scotland, with input from the scientists, and that will help us keep developing novel food products and perhaps maybe even improving our existing food range.